There are certain actors that truly embody a character. Bruce Willis is John McClane, Robert Englund is Freddy Krueger, and Arnold Schwarzenegger is the T-800. When multiple actors end up playing a character, we get to have a fun debate on who the best portrayal was. Was Daniel Craig a better James Bond than Roger Moore? Was Robert De Niro a better Don Corleone than Marlon Brando? One of the best debates among horror fans, though, is who was the best ever to don the hockey mask and machete. While there is certainly a case to be made for Ken Kirzinger or even Derek Mears, for my money, the title is and always will belong to Kane Hodder, the man who changed the mask. You can see and hear that man for yourself in our exclusive interview at the end of the video, but before that, let me tell you a little bit about why he holds that very exclusive title. Kane Hodder was born in Auburn, California in the mid-1950s and spent much of his early childhood being bullied both physically and emotionally before piecing out to an island and discovering shirtless beaches and jungles and the calm of being alone. He would eventually come back stateside and find one of his true loves and callings in stunt work. Unfortunately, at just 22 years old, he was almost killed in a tragic accident that gave him terrible burns on much of his body. He would bounce back, though, and appear in fun minor roles in things like 1980's Alligator, 1986's Avenging Force, and a much bigger role in 1987's Prison from Rennie Harlan. It would be that movie that would change the trajectory of his career forever. The special effects makeup artist on that movie? John Carl Buechler. The man chosen to direct Friday the 13th Part 7? John Carl Buechler. He chose Hodder over the incumbent C.J. Graham, who had ironically hoped to make Jason Voorhees his character, like Karloff had done for Frankenstein's monster, only to lose that title to Hodder. After seeing Kane's work in the movie, though, he didn't hold any grudges. That's gotta be part one of why he's the best Jason. Another Jason wasn't sore about losing the role because he's just that good. While most of the gore was sadly excised from Part 7, Kane would cement his place in slasher history with his portrayal of the newly minted zombie Jason. Oh, and remember that burn that almost ended his life and career so many years ago? It would be on Friday the 13th Part 7, his first portrayal as Jason, that Hodder would set the record for the longest on-screen controlled burn in Hollywood history. The man is committed. When the next movie began shooting, the studio was looking for a Canadian actor to play the part of the masked killer, as the title could have been changed to Jason Takes Vancouver with how much the flick was shot there. This really wasn't because they didn't want Kane Hodder, but actually didn't think he'd want to come back. He did, and convinced Paramount, and it was here that Jason became the real star of the franchise, with Kane playing the character on an episode of the Arsenio Hall show to promote the movie. This was the original point in time where an attempt at Freddy vs. Jason was made, an interesting proposal since, if legends to be believed, Kane was briefly up for the part of Freddy due to his burn accident. While the franchise rights would move from Paramount to New Line, well, kind of, they could use Jason but not the Friday the 13th moniker, there was no doubt that Kane Hodder would return as the imposing killer. It's probably his least amount of work as the heart of the killer passes from human to human. Yeah, we know it's dumb, but he does show up a couple different ways here. Not only does Kane show up as himself in an early scene in the morgue, but is also the man using the Freddy glove to pull the hockey mask down to hell. This makes him the only man to play Jason, Freddy, and Leatherface, as he was one of the stunt performers for Part 3 of that series. He was also a stand-up guy here, helping a frightened kid to understand what burns on a massive body means and feels like. Again, Kane was a vicious killer on screen, but a person with a heart of gold off. While Jason X would be the final Friday film to feature Hodder in the role, sadly Freddy vs. Jason would not have the two most famous people to play the roles square off, he did his normal thing. He played pranks on set, came up with ideas on how to change kills, and made the experience better for all involved. He would go on to another icon of horror by playing Victor Crawley in all 4 movies in that series, something that feels like a very natural extension or even spiritual successor to Friday the 13th, but he would go down as the best to wear the hockey mask. Much like Pierce Brosnan's run as James Bond, Hodder's movies certainly aren't the best in the series, but maybe that's the best case for why he was the greatest Jason of them all. On set and behind the scenes, he was kind, knowledgeable, fearless, and beloved, but on screen, he would often elevate a generic slasher or subpar Friday film into a show. You just can't help but keep your eyes glued to the man behind the mask. The character didn't have a ton of personality before Hodder, and he lost a lot of it, and the man stopped his portrayals, but for 4 movies, we had the best we would ever get with the character never uttering a single word. Thanks, Kane, for making Jason the slasher we always knew he could be.
Looking back, what first got you into the world of stunts?
Just the desire to do it. I somehow, during my college days, fell in love with the idea of doing stunts and doing it for a living instead of a hobby. And so in between semesters, I decided to go to LA and try going to stunt school and stuff. And I was in stunt school with Tom Morga, who played Jason in Part 5.
Sir.
And there was a stunt school in Santa Monica, and I learned a lot from him because he was far more advanced than I was at the time. And I don't know, I just loved the idea of it. Now it's incredibly hard to get into if you don't have a family member. It can be a very nepotistic business. For sure. Or have an uncle or a father or a mother that's had a career in stunts. It's a much easier road for you. I did not have that, and most people don't. So you have to really keep, trying hard, and eventually, if you stay with it, which a lot of people don't, because they start saying, well, it's been 5 years, and I haven't done enough to make a living, and they give up. But if you don't, then it can be a very satisfying career.
Absolutely. And kind of following up on that, not just limited to Jason, of course, but do you have kind of a feather in your cap stunt, the one that you're most proud of that you've performed?
A few of them. I mean, 48 years doing this stuff, and even though I got burned and almost died from a fire stunt, I ended up loving to do fire stunts after that. And my favorite fire stunt is in Friday the 13th, Part 7, because I was on fire for so long, and it was so amazing looking. And then, there's a movie called Fair Game where I had to jump from a flying helicopter and land on the top of a moving train, which was a little tricky. And, of course, it's a kind of stunt where you hope you do it once, and we did it like 5 times. 5 takes. So that was a little tricky because of the physics of it. You can't decide whether when you hit the train, if it's going to, because it's moving forward, if you're going to kick backwards.
Yeah.
And, it wasn't until we did the first take that we knew how it was going to go. So the first one was very, I don't know if you'd say scary, but, concerning.
I would say scary, but I don't do what you do, man. Hats off. And do you have a favorite kill as Jason that you've performed?
Of course.
Please.
Any idea?
Oh, boy. I mean, there's such a good range, man.
You've never seen a movie, have you? I'm going to have to.
Of course I have.
No, my top.
Sleeping Bag?
Yes.
Okay.
Jason kills are Sleeping Bag, Frozen Head from Jason X.
Naturally.
And punching Julius's head off on Part 8.
That was going to be my guess, but I was like, that's probably it. No, the Sleeping Bag, of course.
The Sleeping Bag, because it's not a weapon. And I always thought anybody can kill with a weapon, but when you kill someone with something that's not a weapon, that's even more creative. So that's why I like it.
For sure.
That's why we brought it back in Jason X.
Yeah, absolutely. So nice you did it twice.
Yes, exactly.
So what does the legacy of this character mean to you?
I mean, first of all, as a horror fan, you can only imagine what it felt like to play a character that you've enjoyed watching for 6 movies. And now you're the person putting the mask on, and you have all the responsibility to do whatever you can to do the character justice. And it'll always be the high point in my career. I mean, I've done a lot of fun stunt movies, Seven and Demolition Man and Lethal Weapon 3 and Daredevil and Batman Forever, for sure, Enemy of the State, all those are fun, but when you play the title character in a film, that's a huge honor, and you better do it justice.
Yeah, absolutely. How do you mentally prepare for roles that require so much physical endurance and danger?
I don't know if I really have to prepare for it, because as a stunt person, you're always ready to be surprised by something physical that you have to do. And, the Jason character is very physical, but it never felt like work. It felt like I felt like I was born to play the character. I know, sounds lame as shit, but I felt like it was perfect for me to do that kind of character, and every time I did one of the movies, it felt right. It just felt easy.
Yeah.
And even though it's not, especially with the makeup and stuff like that, it's kind of very tough to work in. But because of that, maybe it's easier to bring the anger, because you're already frustrated.
Fair enough, man. And so you're famously super good to your fans. Like, you're known for incredible interactions with them, and I hope they've been equally as good to you. Do you have any favorite fan interactions throughout the years? Something that's kind of stuck with you as like, that was particularly wholesome or bizarre?
Oh, many, many. I mean, I've met so many fans, especially fans that have been burned. And because it's one of those medical situations where you have no idea what the person is going through, even your loved one. You don't know what they're going through unless you've been there. And I've seen so many people so often become more positive, even when they're in the burn unit. You get very depressed. You think, oh God, I'm going to have scars the rest of my life, if I even survive this. And nobody knows unless you can talk to somebody that's been there, and like, people will listen as long as you want to talk about it, because they finally are able to say, this person knows what I'm going through. They've been there and they've experienced it. So they will take your opinions and knowledge about your own case and use it in the future by saying, well, Kane said this is probably going to be what happens, and sure enough it does. And it's just, I do whatever I can with burn survivors.
Absolutely. I love that, man. And last couple questions for you, just a couple rapid fire ones. You are in a lot of people's favorite horror movies, of course, but what is your personal favorite horror movie?
It's my all-time favorite movie anyway, and it just happens to be horror. And it's The Exorcist.
Nice.
Because, most people around here are not old enough to have seen it when it was first in theaters. I am just old enough to have seen it when it was first released, and the subject matter was something that nobody ever touched. And the movie is so amazing and still good. How many movies from, 1974, I think it is?
Yeah.
That are still good, that don't look hokey and stupid because of effects or whatever. It's still a great movie, and that'll always be my favorite.
Solid pick, man. And what do you think gives Jason his staying power in pop culture that we're here celebrating him 45 years later?
Yeah, I don't think I have an answer to that, but I'm happy it's the case, obviously. But, there's new characters that are kind of coming in and taking over the enthusiastic fans, like Art the Clown from Terrifier is the current Jason from the 80s character.
Yeah.
In my opinion, people love that character. David did an amazing job, and he's very humble about it also, which I appreciate. I don't like when people are given a gift of playing a character that makes them well known and they act like they deserved it. I don't like it. And David is not that kind of person. He realizes how fortunate he is, but he worked hard and got the benefits from it. But I just think it's like Frankenstein or the Wolfman or
absolutely.
Creature. Those are so old, but people still know them, and I think people will still always know the character of Jason till I'm dead, probably, at least.
Now, when I told people I was coming here and that I was going to try and talk to you, I asked kind of what they wanted me to ask you. And the fan question is actually a debate that they want you to settle.
Uh-oh.
Victor Crowley versus Jason, who wins? Bare knuckle
I've been
brawl.
asked that one a few times, but obviously I'd love to do that movie somehow.
Yeah.
Characters, but a very slight edge to Victor.
Okay.
Because he's a little less predictable. Doesn't mean you can defeat Jason just because you know what he's going to do. But Victor was more surprising in some of the stuff he did. So very, very slight edge to Victor.
All right, right on. And last question, we got a lot of fans over at the site who love this movie, love you. I was wondering if you could give us a message for the fans. Just what do you have to say to them celebrating 45 years of this character?
Well, I mean, all of us that have ever been involved in a Friday movie, and this has been a great group of people, I don't think it's ever happened, to have this many Friday the 13th actors in it, and we all appreciate the fact that it's still a popular character. I mean, I guess maybe there's another one coming up. I heard the possibility of that, and that would, if there is, that'd be the 13th movie. How do you not do 13 Friday the 13th?
Right.
So, but we always appreciate the fans, and when you, for like me in particular, when you meet someone and they show you a picture from 30 years ago at a convention, and several times this has happened when someone shows me a picture of me holding an infant in the photo at a convention, and now I'm holding that person's child in a photo. And, the fact that people still are that loyal, and, I mean, we're all in this position because of the fans.
Yeah.
It's not because of the performance. The fans keep us relevant and keep us having fun, especially conventions like this when it's, so many of these people here this time I haven't seen in 25 years. Some of the people from Part 8 and Part 7 and stuff. And it's just, it makes it fun to be able to spend a weekend with your friends, with fans that you'd known for years, and, make money.
Hell yeah.
That's not the worst part of it, so.
Fair enough, man. Awesome. Thank you so much for your time. That was awesome.
Thank you for clicking on our video, everybody. If you like what you saw here, please make sure you like the video and subscribe and share with your friends who like this sort of content. JoBlo was created by movie fans for movie fans, and we appreciate your support.